So Michelle just told us about how software, in effect, is eating everything, and pretty much everyone's going to need to be a software engineer in one form or another pretty soon. This should be pretty good news for our next speaker, who leads an organization that is literally setting the standards when it comes to ethical artificial intelligence. So I'd like to welcome to the stage the Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer of the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers to talk about how we can foster public trust in intelligent technologies and systems. Steve Welby, please.
Prime Minister Rathis, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, I'm honored to be here with you today. IEEE is the world's largest technical professional organization, representing over 420,000 technical professional members worldwide from over 190 countries. And IEEE plays a vital role globally in supporting technology development and standardization. Every day, IEEE members around the world work together to shape technology, including intelligent technologies and systems, for the benefit of current and future generations. One of the 17 conclusions from the Talon Digital Summit in 2018 was to build trust in artificial intelligence. And the summit conclusions state that AI will only live up to its promise if the public has confidence in it, and that it is critical to establish trust and confidence in AI's abilities to do good. As we address AI for public value at today's summit, this charge and the question of how we can build trust in AI is an important consideration for our discussions and for subsequent actions. And so today I really want to talk about trust and how we build trust. And I'd also like to maybe begin by setting some context. We've had several talks this morning that have used the term AI, and I'm always troubled by the conversation about artificial intelligence, because of course we're dealing with our own intelligence. It's that is embedded in these systems, and in our work, particularly in IEEE on ethically aligned design, we tend to avoid the term AI and instead talk about autonomous and intelligent systems. And even those terms are difficult to define. It's hard to pin the words intelligence and autonomy in real ways, but one could think about computational systems being intelligent if they employ algorithms and data to address particularly complex problems and situations, and also perhaps if they include the ability to improve their performance over time by evaluating their previous decisions. So systems might also be considered autonomous if they are capable of independently accomplishing complex tasks in reaction to environmental changes within their domain. So I'll use those kind of definitions as we go forward. But systems like this are not something that's coming. They're increasingly pervasive in all of our everyday lives. All of our speakers this morning have talked about the impact that AI has today and not some future state. Technologies like these bring many possible benefits in terms of supporting scientific progress, promoting human well-being, and creating new economic value. And particularly, they offer the opportunity to explore new solutions to major social and environmental problems. These powerful and complex technologies can also present us with potential new social challenges, legal challenges, and ethical challenges, and with corresponding new requirements to address those concerns over explainability, perceptions of systemic risk, potential issues around data transparency, privacy, ownership, and agency. Very interesting paradoxes emerge. We saw some statistics this morning that suggested potentially positive outcomes from adoption of these technologies. But people around the world, as they become increasingly dependent on these technologies, are also increasingly expressing distrust in them. The 2019 Edelman Trust in Technology study reported that globally, 47% of those surveyed said that technology innovation is happening too quickly and is leading to changes that are not in their best interests. This perception about risk, this perception about not being brought along with our technological progress is something that we all have a collective need to address. Real and perceived risks and concerns can be obstacles to the socially responsible development and use of autonomous and intelligent technologies and can really impact developers, users, and policymakers. We talked a few moments ago about the black box nature of some machine learning approaches, and those can lead autonomous intelligent systems to make classification decisions that defy simple explanation and whose outputs may be, in fact, incongruous with the desires and values of their own developers. The lack of decision explainability can raise questions about responsibility and accountability, can lead to unintended consequence or failure of an autonomous system to meet its intended purpose, or may raise concerns that, in fact, continue to erode trust in technology, impeding its adoption and depriving society of its potential benefits. If autonomous and intelligent systems are not some future technology, if they've already arrived and will be increasingly deployed, it's important that we establish a foundation of trust in them. To this end, I see that there are two important global projects underway, one of which is technical and seeks to develop new approaches to machine learning and autonomous systems design to move us and provide improved transparency and explainability, moving away from that black box approach to machine learning to perhaps a glass box approach, to one that allows algorithms to be better characterized, better understood, and perhaps better regulated. A second important project is to provide the broader framework upon which trust in the application of autonomous intelligent systems can be built, through engagement in a robust dialogue about the principles under which they're implemented. Many communities and organizations have undertaken work on such principles, including the OECD principles on artificial intelligence that promote autonomous intelligent systems that are innovative, trustworthy, and that respect human rights and democratic values. The work of the European Commission high-level experts group in building ethical guidelines for trustworthy AI. Corporate principles, like the ones we just saw from Microsoft, are IBM's corporate principles of trust and transparency, which note that autonomous and intelligent systems should augment human intelligence rather than replacing it, that trust is key to adoption, and that data policy should be transparent. And our own work at IEEE in bringing a community together under the general principles of the ethically aligned design work that was published earlier this year, a set of principles that place autonomous and intelligent systems within a human rights framework with reference to well-being, to accountability, to corporate responsibility, and to value by design. Many countries have initiated and are progressing work relative to autonomous intelligent systems with a keen eye on their public value and impact. Estonia has long been on the forefront of instituting digital technologies in government and throughout society. It has been investing in such systems and developing frameworks around their use. And earlier this year, in May, the Estonian government, its CIO, and groups of experts issued, I think, a valuable report about accelerating their adoption in both the public and private sectors throughout this country. Such principles, frameworks, and initiatives are important steps, and they should be followed by concrete action to implement viable solutions. Our objective at IEEE, by bringing together communities to develop and publish ethically aligned design, a vision for promoting human well-being with autonomous intelligent systems, was to support this advancement, as was so well noted a moment ago, this progress from principles to practice, to begin a practical program of work to move forward, to provide guidance on standardization, certification, regulation, and even legislation to help us all work together on the design, manufacture, and use of autonomous intelligent systems, and help serve as a key reference for the work of policymakers, industry leaders, technologists, and educators. In our work at IEEE, we use the term ethical in a very broad sense to include issues of transparency, issues of accountability, topics around bias reduction, and issues of trustworthiness, with the intention that a system that satisfies this set of criteria would be ethically more desirable and more defendable than one that does not. The methodologies we suggest are not about proving the morality or the culpability of the organizations or individuals that create or use these systems. Instead, we're focused on the front end, on the due diligence that's required to identify the values of end users in the necessary context, to maximize the positive consequences of implementing any autonomous intelligence system, to avoid unintended or negative consequences, and at the same time, supporting innovation innovation for increased societal and individual well-being, all leading to more reliable technological systems and increased public trust in them. Such a concept of ethics by design encompasses practical applications, tools, and means, and recognizes that building trust in technology is going to require building trust in the individuals and organizations producing and employing that technology. Organizations are often focused on growth and speed to market, and are sometimes less focused on ensuring that deeper societal and ethical implications guide technology choices. Developers and operators of autonomous and intelligent systems have an obligation, therefore, to make sure that they're employing practices that embrace and address social and ethical concerns. We need to equip developers with the practical tools that they can use to support the systems thinking required to place autonomous and intelligent systems in a social context. One practical tool is in the form of a technical standard, which is familiar to most of the technologists in the audience, are the work that's going on in IEEE standard project P7000, a standards program which details a model process for addressing ethical concerns during system design. This standard, which is currently in an advanced stage of development, aims to support organizations in creating shared value through technology, but at the same time, it recognizes that as organizations become increasingly aware of their role and the need to demonstrate social responsible behavior when dealing with stakeholders, customers, regulators, and the general public, we need to be framing our work in a larger context. IEEE P7000 builds on the awareness that organizations are societal players with potentially significant power, responsibility, and leverage, and therefore the standard is intended to work with all organizations, large, small, for-profit, not-for-profit, to help them address the need to build better products with a much more refined and nuanced value proposition and with less risk. Certification programs are another practical mechanism to help organizations and governments build systems with a foundation of trust. IEEE is currently developing a certification program known as the Ethics Certification Program for Autonomous and Intelligent Systems through partnership with leading smart urban centers such as Vienna and Espoo, with government agencies such as Finland's Ministry of Finance, and with multinational corporations such as Accenture. This certification program focuses on providing a greater algorithmic transparency, increased accountability, and demonstration of efforts to reduce bias in autonomous intelligent systems. Certification programs like this offer processes and can define marks that can be used by responsible developers to demonstrate that their autonomous intelligent systems, products, and services are built with an eye towards social context. Another trust challenge for intelligent technologies and systems is data governance. Trust can only be gained if organizations and governments are transparent about their data usage policies. If data is needed to help an autonomous intelligent system make better decisions, it's important that persons providing that data are aware of how their data is handled, where it is stored, and how it may be used. IEEE has launched a number of standards projects designed to help organizations address such data standards and data governance issues. Some examples include projects focused on personal data agents, efforts focused on machine-readable personal privacy terms, efforts focused on building standards around child and student data governance, and efforts focused on helping to manage data about employees in an employment context in ways that provide transparency, in ways that provide clarity, in ways that provide mechanisms for a dialogue about data privacy and data rights. We're also very actively supporting the work and have submitted very substantive inputs to the German Data Ethics Commission and to the UK ICO's draft code on age-appropriate design. IEEE, under its mission to advance technology for humanity, doesn't work in isolation. We're continuously leveraging our members' constituencies' expertise to support work with a global network of partners, to help build our collective understanding of the challenges in the space, to help inspire innovation, and to help develop practical solutions. Marissa Schopp, an organizational psychologist, said, "Trust is the social glue that enables humankind to progress through interaction with each other and the environment, including our technology. Growing trust in intelligent and autonomous technology is critical to its effective deployment, and ultimately, only well-designed autonomous and intelligent systems, in combination with well-qualified data sets, will earn the trust of the public. The need today is for practical tools and practical mechanisms to demonstrate assurance that autonomous intelligence systems are well-designed and that data sets are of high quality. It is precisely to address this need that IEEE, in collaboration with public and private sector partners from around the world, continues to work to establish consensus-based, globally open, and inclusive standards and certification schemes. I welcome anyone who's interested to know more about this work or wants to engage with these projects and programs to contact any of the IEEE staff present at this conference. But finally, to summarize, the convergence of advances in computation, machine learning, sensors, robotics, and data analytics offers great opportunities for private and public sectors to deliver intelligent systems that address important societal needs and advance human well-being. For the public to embrace these capabilities, for us to fully take advantage of this opportunity, developers will need to earn the public's trust. And the best way to earn the public's trust will be to adopt processes and standards that demonstrate that we deserve that trust. Thank you all, and I look forward to a day of sharing, learning, and action.